Things are interesting for Kayla Harrison. Now, I've disclosed to you guys a number of times, I'll do it once more. I'm a fan. I'm a Kayla defender. I'm a fan. If you hear the way I talk about her, you'll think we were friends. In truth, I've never met her. I've never even been in the same room with her. I just really appreciate what she did for the country in her Olympic career. That means something to me. Really does. I know what those athletes go through. I know what they get for it. It meant something to me. I'm a Kayla fan. Look, I'm saying things are interesting. I'm this close, guys. I'm an inch away from telling you things are looking good. But I have to say interesting because she is signed to the PFL, and I don't love the idea that she's currently flirting with other promotions. I find it unloyal. It was nothing that she did in her amateur career, and I have absolutely no other complaint or criticism as a fan, right? I can be a fan. I can sit back and cheer for whatever I like. Same as you guys. But there was nothing within her amateur career that ever hinted at that. To going to another team, to representing somebody else, to not put on the red, white, and blue. And when she's with the PFL, she is constantly negotiating, not just with other organizations, with the PFL. And there's something about that, and it's the only thing, this sole only thing that bothers me, so I've got to put her category as interesting. If it was not for that, I would say things are looking good, and here's why. She got Dana White to come out and say, stay right where you are, keep beating up those girls, because the last thing you want is to come over here and have to fight Amanda Nunes. There is no beginning step that could leave the boss's mouth that is more helpful than that. You guys will remember, Dana White was about to have dinner in California, and a film crew with TMZ rushed him on the sidewalk and asked about putting Masvidal against Conor McGregor, and Dana said, I would not do that to Conor. He's not big enough. The very next time we saw Conor, he was a welterweight. It pissed him off. He wanted to prove there's something there. It's fighting talk. It's low-hanging fruit. It's playground stuff. I get it. It works. It works on all levels. It'll work on recess in the third grade. It will work in the octagon on a pay-per-view. Now, Kayla was hip enough to this that she responded basically saying what I just did. She was basically excited when she heard that Dana said that because she knew that was step one. And as far as getting a beef and a dust-up between Kayla and Amanda, that has a whole backstory I don't know if you guys are exposed with. They're teammates. American Top Team. Florida, same gym. Right, American Top Team, they got affiliates all over the place. No, excuse me. They're in the same gym. They used to be on the mat together. There's so many athletes at that gym. It's an absolute factory of fighters that they have to stagger practice times. Not something I can relate to. Gyms I've always been to, the pros always go at this time. We all went in there together, but Top Team's got so many athletes. Their logistics are different. So when Amanda and Kayla chose to come together, be at the same practice at the same time with the same eyeballs on them and pushing and pulling on each other, so the story goes, told by Kayla, Amanda stopped. Amanda told one of the coaches, hey, she's a problem. She's a potential problem. I don't want to go any further with this. Now, before you think that somewhere within that established that Amanda, one, conceded she wasn't winning those goes, or two, doesn't think that she can beat Kayla, you're hearing that all wrong. If we take that story, which Amanda has never denied, and neither has anybody else, and Kayla seems like a very honest person, and not to mention if you say something like that and you still belong to the gym, I mean, you see where that would be a problem? So let's take this at its word, even though we can't prove it. Let's take it at its word. We have a piece of evidence. We have a statement by Kayla. That does not at all mean Amanda's conceded a goddamn thing. Nothing. Because Amanda is saying, I see a potential here. I see a hunger and a size and a strength and an understanding. I am the champion, which means she's coming after my belt, and I'm going to be wise to not help her get there. To not help her to have the information and the skills that she needs to take what she wants, which is my championship. There is absolutely no concession or evidence. If Amanda came to that conclusion, and that is a straight on, Chael's got all of the facts right here. There's no concession that Amanda was even losing those rounds. She saw something that was potential. that was somewhat impressive and could turn into, fill in the blank, a future contender, by example. So that part of the story does get very interesting. I would love to hear that. I don't know how they're going to split that up. I came through amateur wrestling. You do not have to have a corner in amateur wrestling. You have to have it in the pros. You must have a licensed chief second, or you are not walking to the cage. In amateur wrestling, it wasn't that way. So if it was teammate versus teammate, including when I'm a coach right now, if we have two teammates, there's no coaches in the corner. You guys figure it out. We'll be over here. Might watch, might not. In the pros, you must. So now you've got to divvy up the gym. You've got to divvy up practice times. You've got to divvy up resources. You got to know if you got a rat. You got trusted opponents. Is there a common workout partner? Where Billy Sue's getting workouts with Amanda and Billy Sue's getting it with Kayla, and they're both trying to make friends with Billy Sue and see what's going on. I mean, those things are very real. You could relate to that. That doesn't go away. And there is some very helpful stuff to what Dana said. Stay over there, fight those girls. You don't want to come here. You don't want to fight Amanda. I mean, in all fairness, Dana's already stated who, what, where, and why. We don't have the win, right? We need the 5th W. But who, what, where, and why has been stated on Kayla's behalf. That is the first step into Kayla potentially, we don't have a win, potentially coming over, and the only name associated with hers right now within the UFC is, thanks to Dana, Amanda Nunes.